Hello everyone, welcome back to the solutions for the NSAA 2017 paper. We're at the geometry questions. Now this question 13 is based a bit on geometry and a bit on common sense. Okay, so you will have to know a bit about clocks and timings. So I'll just give you the required theory and then we can solve the problem. Okay, or let us solve the problem along with the theory itself so that we can learn it in the context of this problem. So the hands of a 12-hour analog clock move continuously. Of course they do. When the time on the clock is 4. Okay, so what about the minute hand? All right. So when you think about the minute hand completes a circle, entire revolution in 60 minutes, right? So what is the speed of the minute hand? It is for the minute hand, it is 360 degree divided by 60 minutes, right? So it completes 60 degree in 60 minutes. So 60. So this is basically 6 degree per minute. What about the hour hand? Alright, so the hour hand, it completes a 360 degree circle in 12 hours and it also moves as the minute passes. Alright, so speed of the hour hand would be 360 degree divided by 12. So this is basically 30 degree per hour, and it also passes when the minutes pass, right? So you don't see it jumping as the hour changes, it keeps moving continuously. That is why the phrase was given in the question, right? In an analog clock, the hands of a 12-hour analog clock move continuously. So move continuously, that is why this is given. Okay, so the hour hand moves 30 degree an hour. Alright, so that means it also moves 30 degree divide sorry 30 degree divided by 60 is cannot use the equal to sign here. So this also moves 0.5 degree per minute. Alright, so this is the movement of the hour hand. Now at 4 o'clock the angle is 120 degree. So we have to basically figure out what is the angle between the two hands at 4:40. That is the question. So at 4:40 p.m. what does the minute hand do? The minute hand is 40 minutes past 4, right? So the minute hand is at 40 into 6 degree, which is 240 degree, right? So this was 6 degree per minute and 40 minutes have passed, so 240 degree. What about the hour hand? So for the hour hand, first 4 hours have passed, right? So 4 into 30 and then 40 minutes, so 40 into 0.5. I hope this makes sense. 4 hours and 40 minutes, right? So 4 hours from here and 40 minutes from here. Alright, so what does this give you? This gives you 140 minutes. Now what is the angle between these two? I hope you can see the solution now. So angle between these two, so this will be, always take a modulus, okay, because there are reflex angles and stuff. So modulus will ensure that you always get the positive answer. Okay, so 100 degree, that means option B. Alright, so this was, well, I cannot say this was a easy problem. You just had to know how hours and minutes worked. If you know how hours and minutes work, especially in an analog clock, then it becomes quite easy. Now I know that analog clocks are not something very common nowadays. We usually use digital clocks. We can see it in our computer, in our phones and so on. But well, we'll have to do geometry problems for the exam. So just look at an analog clock. You can find them on the internet anyway. So the option is 100 degree, correct answer. And that's it. We'll move on to the next problem. What does it say? Okay, yeah, so I was basically trying this problem and it's not that difficult. So this one is quite easy in the sense that you will have to filter out the information from here. The cost of manufacturing a cake is directly proportional to the volume of the cake. Alright, so that means cost of manufacturing, C, is proportional to V, or I can just write C is equal to KV. Alright, remember this, we will be using this for the future. What do we have? The baker makes 70% profit when he sells a large rectangular cake. So sell price is 680, right? And profit, that is 70%, right? So that means 1 plus 70 by 100 into cost, that is equal to 680. So this is basically 170 by 100 C is equal to 680. Now cancel this, multiply there, 680, C is 4, right? Because that will give you 68, 17 by 4 is 68. So that means the cost here was 4, right? 4 pounds was the cost, and then he sold it for 680. Now the baker decides to sell small rectangular cakes. Now remember, this V was made up of L, B and H, right? That is the volume of the cake, right? So I can just write C is equal to here K L B H. Alright, C is equal to 4. So here we can take the length, breadth and height all to be 1. Okay, bear with me, you will know why I took it as 1. So K into 1, K becomes 4. Alright, remember this, K is equal to 4. Alright, now we are going to use this in the next part of the problem. So what does the next part of the problem say? The baker decides to use smaller rectangular cakes. The length, width and height of the smaller cakes are half those of the large rectangular cake. So this is why we took LBH, right? And now all of the new, we don't know the cost, right? So C will be equal to, K is 4, so 4 into half L into half B into half H, right? So that will be 4 into 1/8 LBH, right? LBH was 1, right? Because the original length, breadth and height was 1. So C is basically 2. Now he sells, sorry, C is half. I'm sorry, 4 by 8 is half, not 2. He sells a pack of 6 of the smaller cakes for 650. Now if the cost of one cake is half, selling 6 of them would just cost 3 pounds, right? And he sells it for 650. So what is the profit? 350. Option D. Okay, this was an algebra problem. This was not a geometry problem, obviously. Well, technically you can say that you are using volume, so this is geometry. Fine, I think I can accept that. So geometry and algebra mixture, very nice problem. So I assumed it said large rectangular cakes, right? So I just assumed that it's a cube, because why not, right? All rectangles are squares, but all squares are not rectangles. So a rectangular cake can be cuboidal or cubical, but a cubical cake may not be rectangular. Okay, so anyway, I hope you get the gist. I took LBH to be once, so I got the value of K to be 4. Once I got the value of K as 4, I can find the volume of the new cakes. So everything is half. So for each new cake, the cost of production is half pound. Now I'm selling 6 of the smaller cakes, so my total cost of production is 3 pounds, and I'm selling this for 650. So my profit will be 350, and D is the correct answer. Okay, so again, very nice problems. Just make sure you know what you are doing, and since quite a lot of variables are unknown, do not be afraid to make assumptions. Of course, do not make any outlandish assumptions that change the basic nature of the problem, but apart from that, you can make your assumptions and solve the question. Alright, so I'll end this video here. Thank you all for joining. If you need more practice, do check out the links in the description. I have a few books written, you can find them on Amazon. Alright, so I'll see you for question 15. Bye, take care.